back to yet another episode of the Stumped Podcast. I'm Spencer.
Matt.
And I'm Logan. Spencer, you're not our host anymore.
I didn't forget it.
Wow. Amazing.
What was funny is I almost said I'm one of your hosts, but I said no. Just keep it traditional.
Nice.
But anyways, gentlemen, another episode. As I was telling you before, I have never felt less comfortable than I am right now. I have almost tasted victory on 2 episodes. And this is one that it's like I can see it, I just can't quite touch it yet. So
I'm
nervous.
This theme of presidents
is
tough.
Super tough.
Here's the problem we were running into. I was talking to Matt about this, and there's a million of those, like, 40 things you wouldn't believe about our presidents. And they're all great, but, like, we all read those.
They're all the same thing.
Yeah.
I actually went the route of how I started, and I'll tip my hand here, right?
Tip your hand.
I'm not
tell us
super confident. But I literally looked up countries with presidents, and I went through I don't know how many different countries and trying to find funny facts of different presidents in different countries. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And you're right.
Same thing.
I couldn't do it. And then I went the route of class presidents. Okay, let me look up funny stories about class presidents. Couldn't find any substantial stuff that I was like I liked, right?
Hard to find a good source for that.
And like a trustworthy source, right?
Yeah,
I was golly. And then I said, okay. I don't want to do it U.S. presidents, but I guess I'm kind of stuck here. And so I went with Theodore Roosevelt's animals.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Hopefully there was not a lot of reading on his animals, but
interesting.
Yes.
I read on so many presidents I won't possibly remember.
Okay.
Spencer, I did the same thing as you. I looked up foreign presidents. I was actually trying to do North Korean based because they had presidents for a while, but then their president in like the 40s was so good that they made him the last president ever. Now they're supreme leaders. Some great stories, but who knows? I can't verify that Kim Jong-un had 12 hole-in-ones on one 18-hole round of golf. So.
I doubt it. There's no way.
So I went away from national presidents of any sort. I'm doing presidents of companies.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Gosh dang. Well done, Logan.
Logan's getting a point.
Nice. Matt, what did you do?
So I thought about doing same process across the board.
Yep.
But I stuck with U.S. presidents.
Yep.
And I did the U.S. presidents and their encounters with animals.
Oh!
So, Spencer, we are very, very close.
Do you have any Theodore Roosevelt stories?
I'm not going to say.
Okay. Well,
I also could at any moment shift because I've got about 18 stories written. Or no, I have about 8 stories written, but I had 18 ready to go.
No,
Hey, Matt.
Matt came in last night on a side note and stayed with us. We were both just texting. We're like, hey, I'm free this weekend. You free this weekend? Right? He's in. He's in here just typing, and I am as well. And I'm like, dude, I'm done with 2 stories. And he's like, I'm 16 in. I'm like, good night.
So I knew something was going to happen, and I needed to have something.
So I think, Matt, you should go first.
I don't agree with that at all. I think the leader should go first.
Time out.
No, leader first.
Yeah, the leader should go first.
Fine. I guess that's fair. I am not feeling good. This is the worst I've ever felt about an episode. Ever.
I'm so happy right now.
Here we
I
go.
don't know any of these. You're going to find the ones I haven't done any research on at all.
So me and Matt are not in the same room. Matt, if it's story 1, I just want to hear knocks on the ceiling. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't have a...
Grab a broomstick. I don't care.
Okay.
Let me open a notepad on my phone really quick so you guys don't think I'm cheating. I don't have a sheet of paper with me.
There we go.
Go, Spencer.
Okay. Do you want to hear guinea pig? Do you want to hear pony? Or do you want to hear snakes?
guinea pig, and for one reason, I've never heard of an average guinea pig death. Those things go through all sorts of stuff. So I got
Dude, those things get
okay.
I've heard they hibernate. I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay.
But like they hibernate in the wintertime and it sounds like they're dead, and I would be surprised how many people have gotten rid of their guinea pig that way.
Here we go. It's not death. It was missing guinea pig here. Okay. One Sunday afternoon, Roosevelt and his daughter Ethel were cleaning out the cages of their guinea pigs, who were named Bishop Doyne, Dr. Johnson, Father G. Grady, Fighting Bob Evans, and Admiral Dewey. However, when they were done, Roosevelt did not lock the cages of Dr. Johnson and Fighting Bob Evans after he put the guinea pigs back in. A few hours later, Ethel came back to play with her friends, only to notice they were gone. After telling her father, Roosevelt enlisted his new Secret Service bodyguards to help him find the animals. They laid broccoli out, hoping to lure the animals back. However, it did not work. Giving up for the time being, Roosevelt promised Ethel they would find him, and he went to bed. However, he was woken up by Fighting Bob Evans crawling over his face. Dr. Johnson was found eating the broccoli outside the cage the next morning by the Secret Service.
I love the name Fighting Bob Evans.
Oh no.
Was Bob Evans a thing back then?
I would be shocked if it was.
I don't know when it was founded. That's awesome.
Good question.
Yeah,
that's amazing. All right, that's the piggy?
That's the guinea pig. Yep. Do you want to hear Archie, or do we want to hear Pony, or do we want to hear snakes?
Snakes.
Give me snakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alice Roosevelt, who was the president's oldest child, had a pet snake, but her youngest son, Quentin, briefly had 4 snakes. Quentin once stopped in a pet store and bought 4 snakes. He went to show him to his father in the Oval Office, where the president was holding a very important meeting. Senators and party officials smiled when the boy barged in and hugged his father. But Quentin dropped the snakes on the table, and the officials freaked out and scrambled for safety. The snakes were eventually captured and promptly returned to the pet store.
No. What kind of snakes? Like constrictors?
I have no idea. Snakes, Logan. Snakes.
That's awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Pony.
Sure.
Matt, any leads yet, Mr. Presidential Animals?
Continue. Horses.
Pony. Once the 9-year-old Archie Roosevelt was sick and couldn't get out of bed. His brothers decided to cheer him up by having the Roosevelt's pet pony pay a visit to Archie in his bedroom, which was on the 2nd floor of the White House. So they did as anyone would do. They brought the pony up in the elevator. The pony weighed 350 pounds and wasn't thrilled about going in the elevator until he noticed his reflection in the mirror and became entranced, making it very difficult for the boys to get him out of the elevator. But eventually did, obviously.
That sounds like an episode of The Sweet Life with Zach and Cody.
The only thing that reminds me of is Logan's character in Fortnite, because it's a horse.
It's a unicorn.
It's a freaking horse.
And I
okay, those are stories. Well, unfortunately, even after reading Theodore Roosevelt's Through the Brazilian Wilderness, I don't know any of these. And the only son I know is his son Kermit. And I don't remember the names of his other children, or if he had other children. Assuming he did, because 2 of these have to be true.
I'm guessing the children's names are not the fake part in this. Regardless, where I'm at right now, I think, and I don't know, I think I've heard the pony story. There was definitely something about a horse in a White House. I don't know the details.
See, here's the problem. A comedian named... I can't think of his name. He told a story about his whole... I'm blanking on his name right now. I see his face. I'll think of his name later. But he had a skit where he told, like, the Trump being in the White House is like a horse being in a hospital. And you're just like, wow, what's a horse doing here? And then a horse enters the hospital elevator, and it goes up, and you're all like, why is the horse in the elevator, but I'm so intrigued. So this could literally be a writing of that skit. It's on Netflix. We can watch it later, Logan, if you want to. It's hysterical. And it could literally be the retelling of that story.
Man, I just don't know because
I'm leaning towards that. It may be the retelling of that story.
Where I'm caught up with is that's that's tough. There's so many references of stuff like that happening in comedy, and there was I think there's actually an episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody where they take a horse in an elevator into their room in whatever suite they were in. I didn't watch it much, but
it's a classic thing to do.
It is. It's an easy thing to write, but also it's believable. I don't know. To me, guinea pig and snakes are very similar style stories. Animals get out, they scatter around. So I was between those two, but maybe they're both true.
I think if he would have made it up, he would have known what snakes they were.
Probably. Unless he's being
I don't know. I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to, just wreck myself here.
Give his tale.
Those are quick stories, too. I hate when Spencer gives quick stories.
I know. I have 6 pages of writing right now, and
he's sitting there so quietly, just kind of
one little detail
his
from
mouth
one
so
story.
You can't see him laugh.
It's just gonna sink me. And here's Spencer,
breathing very heavily. I'm leaning towards the horse one being false.
Spencer's
John Mulaney. John Mulaney is the one who tells that story.
I have
about
seen that.
Trump in the hospital, Trump in the White House, and relating it to a horse in a hospital. And because of that, I think I'm locking that one in as false.
I've seen that, and that's hilarious. I just don't know if I double down. If we give Spencer 2 points right away, do you know how bad that story is?
I'm also quitting the episode if we give him 2 points right away.
You understand exactly how deflating it is to get 0 right away, too.
Yes, I've done it most episodes.
Same.
Oh, this is tough. And he kept them short for a reason.
I'm locked in.
Logan, you double down.
In.
I hate myself. I doubled down. I needed to. I don't know. Spencer's smiling too much. The
pony. Double pony. So let's start with the snakes. No, the snakes are true. I thought I read that and I said, oh, they know I hate snakes. They're gonna think that one's false because I hate snakes, and I thought that was perfect. Oh, and that the comedy.
I would have gone with snakes if not for Matt's entire spiel. Yep. So props already. I'm in the plus just by making the last 2.
Yeah, but I'm concerned that my spiel
threw me.
Through both of us.
Even if you threw me off of snakes, which again is true. So well done. Yeah. You've kept me alive.
So, snakes is true. I couldn't believe it because I can't believe they let someone run through during a meeting. But I guess it was in the early 1900s. So whatever.
Anybody could just visit the president basically any time. The White House was the people's house.
Yeah, because the Secret Service they were new in 1900. And I learned that through the guinea pig story. But the horse story or the pony story is true. It is true. He probably took that comedy bit from that story. The 2 boys put the pony in the elevator. I was dying, Matt. You were talking, and I'm like, I've never seen this comedy bit, but this is amazing. And the guinea pigs is false. That story's not true. He did have guinea pigs named that, but everything else is false.
The names are why I didn't even consider it as false because I'm like, how would you make that up? Yeah, I could see you making up single names and all this, but fighting Bob Evans, I'm like,
the only reason I make that up. No, Logan, I read those names and I said, I don't care what this is. I need to make a story about this because these names are too good not to share with the world. And so one was his doctor, one was his priest. It was I don't even know what Fighting Bob Evans names. It was. Those names were cracking me up. So the guinea pig story is false. I read that they barely even kept the guinea pigs in cages. But yeah. So no, the horse story is true.
Well, this sucks.
The pony's name was what can I not think of it? Algonquin, which I think that's how you pronounce it because my wife's from Chicago and there's a suburb called Algonquin. So starting off well.
What are we doing?
Well, it's been another good episode, folks. Join us next week.
Right. Play the music.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we have to double stump the tie out. We have to double stump out the tie out.
For all of us a tie.
And Spencer's not going to tell you what one he picked.
Either one of you can still win. You guys could double stump and get one right. Like 3 points, you automatically get at least a half point.
Yeah, you're just 2 there. So
I need 2 points. Yeah.
Yep. Who wants to go next?
If we all double stump. Oh my gosh. This is bananas. This is really terrible.
Matthew?
Go ahead, Matt. Let's hear it.
I hate this part. It is the worst.
This has been Silly Songs with Matt.
Yeah. Another episode of The Worst Thing in the World. So I currently have 4 stories sitting in front of me, and I'm debating and slowly getting rid of the stories.
Well, wait, while you debate, Spencer, do you have any random guests stop by your house recently?
No.
Should ask Joe.
Dang.
Why?
It's unfortunate.
No one wanted to talk about their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
You had Jehovah's Witnesses stop by?
I sent them to your place like 3 weeks ago.
No, you did not.
We ordered a home visit.
No, you did not. I never got it.
I have the email. I got verification that my request went through.
Yeah, I'll send you.
I'm still waiting to be witnessed to. Oh my gosh!
I didn't get the time of day of like when. I didn't put the time of day because I didn't want to like put us in a pickle here. I was like, oh, show up in time, but I haven't heard anything since.
Spencer,
I think it
check
was
your
late
phone.
December.
I'm checking my phone.
I haven't heard anything since late December, so.
I sent 2 pictures. It's a story and 2 pictures.
This is so funny. Hang on. Request a visit. There it is. English to my name. That is so funny. I need to hide my address from you two. Well, considering you've been to my house. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
That is so funny. We'll usually visit within a week or 2.
Yeah, that's why I thought I'd wait 3 weeks and ask.
Shown up.
Bummer.
Well, I've got my 3 stories.
Am I not worthy to be witnessed to? Golly, okay.
We were worried
it's
about
a pretty
your soul.
easy process. I just had to verify that I was a real person and gave them an address and went from there. So.
Well, I'm gonna be looking out for it. I'm gonna say "Welcome Jehovah's Witnesses" on my front door. Okay.
Part of me was wondering if they showed up, but Joe answered the door, or just didn't answer the door.
I'll have to ask Joe. I'll have to ask Joe if she's heard anything. Okay, let's hear it.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
So I've got Stuart Little, See You Later Alligator, and Rough Riding Moose.
I have no. What sucks is I read animal stories, and unfortunately none of these freaking animals made the list. So give me the alligator. I don't know. I had a dream about an alligator last night.
See You Later Alligator.
Sure.
Okay. My notes for this are alligator. Rawr. That's the story. No. Here we go. Well, President Herbert Hoover had a share of pets. His second son, Allen Henry Hoover, had a pair to beat them all. Allen Hoover was gifted 2 alligators by Clarence Woolley. According to the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library and Museum, the alligators were normally kept in the bathtub, but often escaped. In 1921, letters from the First Lady, I believe her name was Lou Henry Hoover, and her secretary, Philippi Harding, indicated that Allen and his father, Bert, built a pond for Allen's alligators at the Hoovers' 2300 South Street home. But a second pond was discussed after the alligators chewed the tops off the water lilies. In the wintertime of 1921, Lou did manage to convince Allen to let his alligators winter at the nearby Washington Zoo, but they were soon sent back in spring. After several escape escapades, the alligators were donated to the Smithsonian Zoo. Unfortunately, it is certain they never lived in the White House.
I don't know. I feel like there's levels to this, and you said that they never lived in the White House?
They lived in their 2300 South Street home in the bathtub that they regularly got out of.
South Street in Florida? Because in Florida, this is very believable.
It would not be. There's no way it's Florida.
In Virginia, not as much.
Yeah. Okay. No, I want to hear the next one. I don't care. I'm still mulling over that because I feel like there's levels to pets, and that's bad.
Give me the moose or buffalo or whatever that one was.
Sure. You want the moose one? So that's See you later, alligator. Here is Rough Riding Moose.
Rough Riding.
In the year 1912, the United States was in the midst of a heated presidential election. The two main candidates, Woodrow Wilson and William Howard Taft, who were well-known politicians with strong followings. However, there was a third candidate that was willing to cause a stir in the political world, Theodore Roosevelt. Roosevelt had decided to run for office for the third time, this time under a new party, the Bull Moose Party, or the National Progressive Party. His campaign slogan was Bull Moose for a Strong America, and he was determined to shake up the political landscape. While campaigning in Maine, Roosevelt had a bold move that would go down in history. He arrived at the rally in a small town of Kittery, Maine, riding on the back of a large bull moose. The crowd was stunned and was but also intrigued by his unexpected entrance. As Roosevelt dismounted the bull moose, he addressed the crowd with his usual vigor and passion. The crowd was captivated by Teddy's move at Kittery, and the word soon spread to captivate more audience, but it was not enough, as Woodrow Wilson of New Jersey would win the election for the Democrats.
Can you domesticate a moose?
If you're Theodore Roosevelt, probably.
Yeah. Interesting.
Here's the thing with that. Wasn't Logan, help me out here. Was there a president that served 3 terms? Was that Franklin Roosevelt?
Actually served 4, but died in the 4th term. Yes. It was a Roosevelt.
I think it was Franklin. I don't think it was Theodore. I know for a fact it wasn't Theodore, actually.
It might have been FDR. Yeah.
You know what's sad about this? When I was looking up Theodore Roosevelt for mine, I literally was scrolling through the Wikipedia page to make sure everything was like whatever, and I probably skipped over this story if this is true. That's what's frustrating.
Well, there's a lot about that guy.
It was so much. I said I was looking to see how many kids that he had, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Give me how many kids.
For book club, we read Through the Brazilian Wilderness last year, which is his story of him traveling through the Amazon on canoes, and there's like stories of them like having sock eating like bugs that would bother them at night. He was a weird dude.
Okay, hit me with the last one.
Stuart Little. 17th President Andrew Johnson, who assumed office after President Lincoln's assassination, notably lacked official pets during his presidency. However, during his impeachment, Johnson found solace in a family of white mice that had taken residence in his bedroom. Aimed at turbulent impeachment proceedings, Johnson fed and entertained the mouse using flour and grain from his flour and grain mill business. While Johnson formed a bond with the mice and even called them the little fellas, his daughter, Martha, determined to eliminate rodents from the White House, waged a separate campaign using poisons, tarps, and cats. Johnson was ultimately acquitted by a narrow margin of 1 vote, and whether the mouse survived or were taken down by Martha's efforts remains unknown. Nonetheless, the little mouse family provided comfort to the president during a challenging period.
Logan, do you have an idea?
Oh, leader.
I just call him "Oh, leader."
Yes. Oh, Captain.
I really don't ever want to hear that again.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any idea?
No, I don't know.
It's in your best interest to double stump him.
No, it's not. That gives you a third point.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You want to get it right, and you want me to get it wrong.
Correct. Then he's at 1, I'm at 1, you're at 2, and I still have a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
that's my path to the win.
This scoring is so wild.
I know. I don't know. I have questions on all of them. Alligators that far north in the cold as cold-blooded animals, how do they make it as pets? I don't know. Moose, can you domesticate? Those are, I don't know if you've seen the video of a moose walking by a cow. It dwarfs it. Like, those things are massive.
These are massive.
They're unbelievably big. I couldn't fathom someone getting on that, but also, like, it's Theodore Roosevelt, so I kind of could. And the mouse one, good. I've never heard that story. I don't know. I have questions on all three. I don't believe any of them, but 2 of them happened. I'm locked in. I'm not going to tell you how I'm locked in because
psych. Again, they're all false.
Nuts.
So Logan, you're already locked in.
I'm locked in. Yeah.
Okay. I'll state what I know. I am like 85% sure the alligator's true. The moose story this is what's hindering me. The mouse, I am trying to recall I don't remember reading about Roosevelt's moose. And the Kittering, whatever, there was a president, like the Strong Kittering or something Kittering. That name sounds very familiar, and I don't know why. In the mouse story, I've just never heard. So, and would Theodore Roosevelt go for a 3rd term?
You're telling me the alligator's true?
The alligator's true. Is that the one you chose?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not telling you
the way he said that definitely made it seem like that's the one he chose.
I'm unlocked. I hold the key to my whiteboard.
I should have grabbed a whiteboard. That's what I should.
Oh yeah, I have them upstairs. Come on up here, Matt. I'll show you my stories.
I am like really debating between 2 and 3. The mouse, I don't know. Okay, I'm locked in.
What'd you lock?
I locked in moose.
What'd you lock?
Please tell me you locked in mouse, Logan.
What'd you lock in, Logan?
Mouse.
Mouse.
So you locked in mouse.
Because I know
alligator.
I know the alligator's true.
I wrote
alligator's true.
I wrote true by the alligator. I think I've heard the moose story. I know he started the bull moose party and did a stunt with a moose. I don't know if he wrote it. That could be made up. But the bull moose, they called him the bull moose, and he started the bull moose party, as I recollect.
Then that might be right.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Matt. Hit us with it.
I could be wrong there.
So the bull moose. Theodore did go for a third presidency.
Oh, dang.
He did lose. It was the bull moose party.
But he didn't ride it.
The photo of him riding a moose across a river was proven to be fake. He never rode a moose. It was Kittery, Maine. That is a spot in Maine right next to Connecticut. I am about to quit this right now and never edit another episode in my entire life. This is absolutely Spencer is on a hot streak.
So is the mouse is true? The mouse stories are true?
The mouse is 100%
okay.
true.
I don't remember reading anything about that.
He found his mice and it was just a rough time and he had no pets, so he just befriended them and gave them water, and his daughter
That's amazing.
was like, no!
That is amazing. That's so funny. No, the thing that hugged me up on the moose story was all I could think about was I don't know much about Theodore Roosevelt at all, actually. I'm like, would he try to run for a 3rd one, even though he knows that's not how that works? And did he actually try to run for a 3rd? That was legit? Well,
yeah, the entire story, he ran for a 3rd one, which is, again, is like the one part that's actually true about the story. You're like, no, that can't be true. Therefore, the story is false.
Yeah, I was going to say, do the wrong work, get the right answer, I guess.
No clue. I have no clue if he campaigned in Maine. I have no clue.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
This is what kills me, is I can correctly call out the true parts and be like, yeah, he ran for a 3rd party under the bull moose. And I remember he did stunts with a moose and all this. And but I don't know if he wrote it, which is 100%.
So the research I had done was the photo was a doctored photo. And it looks doctored. The moose is halfway in the water and Theodore just looks like he's placed on top of it. It is a doctored photo.
So was he actually on the moose in the water?
In the picture, that's the one I saw. I don't know if there's more of them. The one I saw is he was riding on a moose in the water. and he looked happy. I can send you guys a photo if you can't find it.
Here it is. Theodore Roosevelt rode a moose as a campaign stunt while seeking a third term as president. This picture was supposed to be a symbol. First appeared. So did he actually sit on the moose or no?
No. The photo's doctored. The photo's fake.
Okay. That's pretty impressive that they can fake a photo like that back in the early 1900s.
The first photograph was like 70 years before that.
Okay.
And your printing press back then is just stamps.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
Well, Logan, I don't want to burst your bubble here, but I don't think...
It's bursted.
I guess you were right, just wrong at the same time.
So upset right now.
The story of this season, I have known just enough to completely fool myself.
That should be the thing. Fool myself.
The one season I'm actually getting points. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Logan, let's hear him, dude. Presidents of companies.
Wait, Logan, Matt, just text me with one's true.
No, I didn't. How many points do you have this episode, Matt? One? So you can't even get... So Spencer already got a point.
I got a point.
He's already won the episode. You know how he won the episode? I don't think Theodore Roosevelt would go for a third term.
That's exactly how. Okay. Let me tell your stories, buddy.
All right, well, they're good stories nonetheless. Do you want... We're talking about presidents of companies. My president, the myth. My president, the troll. Or my president, the spy.
Ooh, give me the spy.
All right.
I'm locked in.
What? Are you?
No, he's being dumb.
Well, it doesn't matter, so I'm kind of curious. What blind guess would
I'm
get
locked in.
Okay.
You didn't even know which story second or third.
This is scorched earth policy right here. Okay.
Yep. All right, my president, the spy. John McAfee, founder, president, and CEO of McAfee Antivirus, created one of the most successful antivirus softwares on the market in the mid-2000s. After doing so and making bank in the process, like multi-millionaire, he did what most of us would do, packed his bags and moved to Belize. He built what can only be described as a compound in the jungles of Belize, and, as innocent as that sounds, most people assumed he was up to no good. On a tip he was dealing hardcore drugs in 2012, dozens of officers and soldiers stormed his jungle property. The search found nothing but a building full of guns and laptops. Everything was properly registered, though, so no charges were brought. Shortly after that, an American neighbor wound up dead with a gunshot wound, and McAfee was placed as a suspect in the case. Knowing he was a suspect and fearing the police would try to kill him, McAfee packed his stuff and moved to Guatemala. He was arrested for trying to enter the country illegally. As a suspect in a murder, you can't do that. And while in detention, he faked a heart attack to try to get out. Somehow, the millionaire managed to get the case dropped and convince the authorities to let him move back to Miami. Once back, the compound in Belize was fully analyzed by authorities, and what they found was this: 75 laptops hacked with surveillance software in his compound. He'd been distributing laptops and phones to 29 Belize government officials, which were hacked, and he was tracing everything happening within the Belize government. Which isn't much, believe it or not. His boldest claim was that they helped 11 individuals on a terror watch list migrate into the U.S., but no claims he ever made were proven true or false. Now, back in the States, John did a bunch of things, such as run for U.S. president as a third-party candidate twice, release a video on how to uninstall McAfee antivirus software while high on bath salts, and eventually...
The best thing he could have ever done.
Oh, yes. The bath salts video. Highly recommend. I'm kidding. I've not seen it. But eventually, tax evasion, which led him to run to Spain. While in custody for tax evasion in Spain, John allegedly committed suicide and died in custody. This was in October of 2020. The circumstances of his death are disputed, though, depending on the source you use. So he was an international spy on the Belizean government.
Here's since Matt's already locked in, I will speak my mind. I am fairly certain there were scandals with him, but I didn't know that extent. I thought it was his software. I didn't know it was him.
His software is regularly considered to be a virus itself.
Yeah.
It's so big and so hard to uninstall.
It's so bad.
And so...
This is not me. I work in IT, and we don't use McAfee on anything.
Yeah. So
nor do we recommend it.
I knew there was some. If that's true, I didn't know it was all of that because that's wild. So, okay, what's the next one?
Do you want my president the myth or my president the troll?
Give me troll.
In today's age, people often get away with saying things online they wouldn't say in person. Hidden behind an often vague username, faceless profile photo, and screen of invincibility, people can get pretty nasty about the most random things in our modern internet. But this isn't a new phenomenon, or even one simply reserved for common folk. In the year 2000, the president of Whole Foods, John Mackey, made a burner account on a Yahoo Finance message board under the profile name Rahodeb, an anagram of his wife's name. He used his fake identity to troll people online, posting hundreds of messages praising his own company and crapping all over the competition's products. Some comments were pretty subtle stuff like, quote, "Have you had the 365 organic miso dressing? It's my personal favorite." Some of it was more aggressive. Quote, "I know Oats, a competitor, was going to eventually crash, and I made quite a bit of money shorting them because I know their stores, understood their strategy, and knew that Whole Foods would crush them in head-to-head competition." Now, as you may have guessed, posts like that, Mackey got called out due to his frequent knowledge of insider information the average customer just wouldn't know. Users began suspecting he was indeed the president of the company. Instead of just deleting the account and making another like a normal human being, Mackey took things to a whole new level. He began claiming that he wasn't John Mackey. He was, in fact, current sitting U.S. President George W. Bush, and he was, quote, hiding in plain sight. He, while claiming to be George Bush, took to complimenting the thought that he was Mackey, saying John's haircut was, quote, cute, and, quote, Mackey looks like a model for Brooks Brothers compared to the people who work for him. This went on for 7 whole years before finally, in 2007, during a lawsuit surrounding an antitrust litigation surrounding Whole Foods' bid to buy Oats, the competitor he was trashing, that court documents would bring his trolling habits to the public eye. Trolling aside, Mackey did lead Whole Foods pretty successfully as president and CEO for 42 years.
That's hysterical.
I think that's true.
I want that to be true.
Well, I know there was...
Therefore, it's false.
I know. No. I'm going to kick myself. Because I feel like I know there was a CEO that did troll people online, like under a fake name. I don't know if it was Whole Foods, but I'm not choosing that one because I feel like I've heard some resemblance of it. So, okay, what's the last one?
My president, the myth. When you think of the many traits a good president of a company must possess to be successful, you think things like hardworking, intelligent, wise, steadfast. One thing you don't often think, though, is real. This brings me to the tale of Li Wei, founder of and president of Chinese tech company Baidu. Baidu, I don't know, Matt, you're in tech. Is that how you pronounce it? Baidu?
I've never heard of this.
Baidu specializes in keyboard apps, including famous Facemoji keyboard and other specialized keyboards you can use to download on your smartphones. Li founded the company in 2012 as a young entrepreneur. Li was charismatic and charming as a leader who quickly recruited a team of developers, programmers, and engineers to Baidu. Baidu's success was quick and unparalleled, growing from a small tech company to having a market cap of over $25 billion within 10 years. Li sought to acquire as many small tech startups as possible, using acquisitions to broaden from apps to other software, and projectors, news, internet, TV, and even an online encyclopedia. Li seemed to pull every string right as a businessman, but very little was known about the personal life of Li Wei. And that's because Li Wei wasn't real. Li Wei was simply a stage name put out by Chen Hui, a female who was worried that in a male-dominated industry, her ideas wouldn't be taken seriously. Li Wei isn't real. Li Wei was simply a stage name put out by Chen Hui, a female who was worried that in a male-dominated industry, her ideas wouldn't be taken seriously if her business partners knew who she was, especially in China, where females generally have less sway in the business world. So instead of using her real name, she made up the persona of Li Wei and had her brother show up to meetings, handle negotiations, and play the leader of a company despite knowing very little about the tech world himself. After 10 years, however, and unprecedented growth, Chen decided it was time to emerge from the shadows as the actual founder and president of Baidu. So Li Wei officially stepped down, quote unquote, obviously not real, and Chen Hui took over in 2022. Li did have a great run, though, for a mythical president. Growing a company by $25 billion in market cap isn't too bad for a president that isn't even real.
So I'm locking in 1, the security system. Here's why. Number 2, I feel like I've heard some company trolling someone, but I feel like that's right up Logan's alley to make up. And number 3, I just hope is true. I really just hope that is true.
Have you heard the comedian who creates fake support accounts and just absolutely I'll send you some videos.
So bad.
He makes fake like Facebook and like Subway support accounts, and then he just absolutely rips on people who can make complaints.
Is nuts. Okay, Matt, what did you lock in?
Videos.
What did you lock in?
Did you already lock in?
I locked in 1.
I locked in my president, the myth.
Okay.
From the get-go, I just said, this is the worst podcast out there. I'm going to start early and lock in, and my life is a myth, so.
Okay. Let's hear it, Logan.
Honestly, I don't know why people listen to us. I'm with Matt. This sucks. No.
Logan has never really experienced losing before, so this is all new to him.
The worst part?
What?
I have to listen to all of these again. I get the lovely privilege of reliving these wonderful moments.
Well, okay, Logan, break our hearts.
Before I break anyone's heart, or my own, I would like to say I was very suspicious of Spencer having found some of my sources. So I used new sources for this one, and to no avail.
If it helps, I've never found your sources. I don't even know what source you use.
I'm kidding. All right, so
He's got Joe in the background just typing away like crazy.
Joe,
what do you think it is?
Theodore Roosevelt on a moose. Okay.
My president the troll is true.
Yeah, I feel like I heard that somewhere.
John Mackey made a burner account off his wife's name and just trolled people for 7 years. Unbelievable. I got to read a bunch of the posts. It was awesome. It's the kind of stuff you wish your president would say as Whole Foods. Like, I'll give him props. He stood behind Whole Foods wholeheartedly. That's probably why he led it for 42 years.
That's amazing. Okay.
I mean, he would smack talk your salad dressing like you've never heard. It was great. So props to him. My president, the myth, completely made up. I wrote
That's
the whole
amazing, Logan. Well done. That was so good.
I Googled tech companies in China, picked the first name I thought I could pronounce, used AI to make up 2 Chinese names, and just typed the whole thing by myself.
That's amazing. I wanted that to be true.
I should have doubled or nothing and said, like, give me double points if I get this correct, if I lock in now.
You should have. The spy, John McAfee, that's all true. There's a lot
wild.
A lot of that's alleged. Like, we know he was spying on the Belizean government because they went through afterwards. But his claims about them were all alleged, and I tried to make that clear as I said it. But, like, the dude lived a life. I mean, he jumped from country to country. He spied on a bunch of governments. He was his wife says he would not commit suicide in prison. And, like, with all the people he ticked off, maybe she has a case. I don't know. I don't know anything about the case, but he seemed nuts.
Interesting.
That's wild.
Wow. Also, a very hardcore user of drugs by later in life, so maybe he did that too. But wildlife.
I should have.
I knew he was like a rough dude, but I didn't. I would never expect all that. The last story, the myth, I wanted that to be true because that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
I tried to Google it happening. You know how hard it is to Google presidents that aren't real. Like, it was just. So I'm like, I'll just make this all up off my head.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, not to break the ice here, but I think I got another point.
Yeah, you think?
Wow, way to just politely say that. Like, hey guys, screw you.
What's the score at?
We're still at a half point. Where's the
matter.
All right, I just had to into that because holy smokes, Matt. We're 5 episodes in. We have half a point each.
Is it 5? What is it? 4.5 to 0.5?
Yeah. And you've won 4 straight episodes.
I know. I'm on a roll.
So what was the burner?
An absolute. Yeah. So what's my magic number again? It's 6.5. That's the magic number.
Something like that.
Wait, that can't be.
No. At 6, the worst you could do is tie for first. We've already. This is episode 5. There's 7 episodes left.
There's 7 left.
So 7 total points are still on the board.
We could get to 7.5.
7.5.
One of us. Yeah. If we went on a burner like
this. If you tie out the rest, you win.
everyone you win lowers how much we can get by 1. So you're at 4.5. If you go to 5.5, the most we can get 6.5. If you go to 6.5, the most we can get 5.5. So you're like 1.5 points away, I think. From a tie.
2. I think I'm 2 away from sealing it. Yeah.
1.5 away from the best we could do is tie.
Yeah. Okay. Gentlemen, my heart is racing.
And I've never felt worse than I do right now.
Yeah,
that was because Matt goes, I have 16 stories on president's pets or animals. I'm like, golly, I'm screwed.
I literally had 16 stories on the president's animals.
I was like, did you Google one about a cow? And there was a cow and there was a raccoon or something like that. And I was like,
there was one of the presidents had 2 pet lions.
That's wild.
I also don't have that story.
Oh, bummer. Should have used it.
Well, gentlemen. Oh, I gotta put another thing on the wheel. Oh my gosh.
Let me pull up the wheel.
I'm prepared for that either after winning so much.
I didn't.
I'm out of ideas.
I hate this so much.
Let me see here. What one did I put on last one?
Matt, let's go TPM
Animals.
Later. Fashion.
No,
you did fashion.
I put fashion.
Take it off.
Oh gosh.
It's horrible.
You know what?
Fork is the
Just
yard
Google
later.
something. Go ahead. Cleveland.
No.
Sports.
I was thinking sports. I'm gonna do sports because I think there's so many good stories out there, and I think that we deserve to. Sports stories should be deserved to be told. So I'm gonna go sports. Put sports on there.
I can't wait to tell you all of my stories about underwater basket weaving.
I have sports episode written already, so I'm ready for that.
Well, you know what? I don't want.
It doesn't
sports.
matter.
Yeah.
No. It doesn't matter. I had a president's one written.
I think at some point I'm just gonna start telling my life stories that are somewhat related.
Sports. I threw a no-hitter in high school. Is it true?
Is it true?
Okay, Logan, let's spin this wheel, dude.
This is the worst thing in the world.
3, 2, 1. We are recording. Spin that wheel, and you guys can see it before I do.
Oh, this can be tough.
Well, I can't even see it because
it's pixelated.
Pets. Oh! I should have saved this episode. Gosh dang.
Sucks to suck.
I might have
I'm going to tell you a bunch of stories about Poe.
Stories.
Oh, that stupid cat. Okay. Well,
my cat is great.
My mortal enemy.
We will talk about my cat next episode. Maybe.
Yeah.
I probably won't, but we'll still bring him up because he deserves it.
Well, gentlemen, another episode. Until next week, theme pets.
Another day, another dollar.
Not even me crying in a
Matt,
new
let's go watch
football
and cry together.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Some food.
Spencer,
Toodaloo.
Peace out.